Kokavich.
Here.
Essick.
Here.
Dixon.
Here.
Bronner. Here. Lyle.
Yes, here.
Kerrigan.
Here.
And now approval of the March 9th meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections? Is there a
I
motion?
move that we approve the minutes as distributed and dispense with the reading of those minutes.
Moved by Steve, we dispense with reading the minutes and approve them as distributed. Is there a second?
Yep, second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Reports, solicitor.
Thank you, Greg and Council. This time I don't have anything in particular to report on. Everything I'm working on is proceeding accordingly.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Police chief, Chief Hayes.
Thank you. March was a pretty good month for us. It's hard to believe we're recording March already, though. I read this. Oh, it was March. Pretty particular, nothing that stands out, but we do compare to 2014 with 35 arrests. 31 in 2014, so we're right on pace right there. The body cameras are in full effect on our officers. They've all been wearing them, been using them. They've been great. They've helped us on stuff, so as we're taking reports, we can, oh, what did he say? And I can play the video back. We got it all right there. So that's actually been our most benefit so far. We haven't had any major incidents or even minor incidents where we needed them, but we're using them, and they're great. Everybody's taken to them, so that's been very well received. We just ordered our bulletproof vests. The guys are going to come in on Thursday, get us all measured. Something we budgeted for. We're due for new vests. They actually came to Zane State College and did a demo where they actually sat there in the range and shot the vest. And we got to see, I wasn't there personally to see it, but I had somebody there reported to me, and like 8 rounds from a 12 gauge shotgun at point blank range didn't bother this vest at all. So I'm excited to have something like that, considering mine is almost 10 years old already. So, and those usually last about 5 years maximum.
Let's
So-
not try it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna volunteer for that one. But,
Still gonna leave a word here for that.
yeah. So I'm excited to have those in. I did apply for a grant that'll reimburse us for half the cost. We can buy them now, and then when the grant comes in October, we can submit for that and get half the cost. So it's very very good. We're also on the state purchasing contract, which makes them even less. So hopefully, if the grant everything goes through, we're talking $400 a vest, which is almost unheard of. So I was really excited to get that news. So those have been ordered and will be here shortly for our full-time officers. And then we're also gearing up for the end of the school year at the university. I know it tends to get a little busier. We've kind of seen that already as the weather warms up. So we're getting additional officers out and about. Actually have an extra officer out tonight with Mindy. So just trying to plan ahead and stay on top of that the best we can. So we're doing that. But if anybody hears of anything, please let us know of anywhere we might need some extra help. So.
Is there any kind of coordination with the university police in terms of maybe some, I don't know, education or awareness in advance about the rules and regulations about noise and littering and things like that for spring parties and events?
Not particularly through us. I know Student Life is working with their students, and they're having events and stuff. So they call it Muskie Palooza, beginning of the year parties. So
Yes, exactly.
they're trying to keep everybody entertained if they're on campus, and I'm sure they're spreading some awareness as well.
Okay.
And that we've coordinated with the police department up there so that we know when their busy times are going to be and stuff, so that we're aware too. So we know how many officers they're going to have out, we know how many we have, so that helps. It helps to have that coordination. So it's been going really well.
Is anything proactively? I'm thinking back to last year, the big event that had everybody fussing and stewing. Any kind of proactive citizen council advice or measures that you think we could do to keep everybody from fussing and stewing and just be proactive about that without being like.
Like you say, we're looking 2 weeks away. The thing is, it's not a big concert, So we won't have the extra out-of-towners that
Yeah.
we had last year, in particular. Most of the events should take place on campus itself. We shouldn't have a lot off campus. Typically, when there's not a concert, we're not typically that.
Are there any big events happening on campus, even on campus, that would likely impact the larger community?
I know they're having a dance on Saturday night, but I don't know that that would impact us here off campus. Not even parking or anything like that that should be a bother for us.
That's just their homecoming, or not homecoming, but right there.
It's that much people
Spring.
losing up.
Yeah, it's just a spring dance or something instead of a concert, and we're off here,
So it's not, yeah, and it's
But
usually
that
not the
is-
campus events, it's usually the pre-parties and the
Yeah.
post-parties.
Yeah.
But they're affiliated with campus events
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
campus.
An alternative.
Unofficially.
That's right, that's right. That's
They're
right.
Unofficially, yeah. So that's why, I mean, we're taking our steps to talk to the kids that live in those houses.
That's what I'm
Jeremy,
asking, yeah.
mostly on midnights when he's there now, hey, we're gonna be here, we're gonna have our people be aware.
Yeah,
And just try to work with that, and then we'll handle calls and complaints as they come in, and be as proactive as we can while we're out as well, so. I think we'll be in good hands this year.
Chief, hats off to you for initiating this, the body cameras, because it's a very progressive thing, and I don't know if there's a whole lot of police departments in our part of the state that have taken that, in my view, proactive step. It speaks a lot to the confidence that you have in your officers, and I think it's a great step to be proactive in how.
And I
we
think
do law
speaking
enforcement.
for our officers too, I think we feel more confident having those cameras. As strange as that sounds, we're now more confident with what we're seeing, what we say. The taller officers, because of where we wear them, we have a red light violation, we actually record it. Where me, I'm sitting so low in the car, it hits the steering wheel. But we have those
We're
other-
here.
Yeah, we get just the dashboard, but we do have those other opportunities that we can use those. It benefits us as well, so.
Good.
And, they're confident that their actions are recorded just the same as the other person's, and, I mean, it's been well received, and I'm very impressed.
Is the college aware that we have those on our?
Yes, and they are looking into them as well, from what I'm understanding, so.
Okay.
But other than that, I have nothing else to report on.
Any other questions for the police chief? Thank you, Chief Hayes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire Department, Chief Gates.
Yes, it's just a pretty steady month, 14 fire runs, bringing the total to 45. We're down from last year, but for some reason our grass fires are way down, so, which is a good thing.
It's so wet.
Well, yeah, but we pumped out the fire administration building, we had 6 inches of water in it. It's still running into the basement.
6 inches of water.
6 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, we pumped it out, and I conversed with Lee, and some will look at it, it's just, the ground is so saturated, the water is still running between the firehouse, the white building, coming from the park area, the steady stream of water is still running off the park. It's just so saturated. And but it's everywhere. It's just, it rained, and I don't know if you realize how much rain's been out there. But the good thing is the majority of our water, we don't have much flooding, like a couple of our roads we protect flood, but it goes down and up. I mean, Stooks Lane came up, and was it up 2-3 hours, and it goes back down. And, if you drive to Coshocton right now, you can see all our water, because all our water's up in Coshocton right now. So, I mean, we're lucky there. So, we did have what I call it's a terrible thing to say, people call 911 and they have a bad event going on and they expect us to take care of it. And the fire service, we call it a good job. Maybe that's not a good term in council people. We had a very good job at the Thomas Hall. So 37 years I've been in the fire service, and it's the first time ever that I opened up a door and I could hear sprinkler controlling the fire. The only difference was when you turn the sprinkler off, everything starts burning again. But they controlled the fire, we was able to get into it, send the crews into the smoke. As they turned the water off, we had a hose line there and was able to control it. So, and that was a $59 item that probably caused that fire. So, EMS side, we had 99 patients, 98 total EMS calls, bringing the total to 266. I guess the big thing to look at was, we've had 203 transports this year compared to 174 since last year. I mean, that's almost 30 more transports. We're not that ahead farm runs, but our transports are up, so.
What's the difference between transport and run?
We have runs that, we don't transport.
Oh,
You
just go and take care of it right there.
gentleman who, I just visited the funeral home.
Yes, yes, that would
We
be run.
went up, Mrs. Hoon had a direct line to me, and we took care of wrecks.
Yes.
So they didn't have to call 911, we called a run, but we didn't transport.
Got it, thank you.
So we do a lot of that.
Okay.
We do, especially in the village, Evergreen, and other places, at the back, we take up, and we have the muscle, we go take care of them. Take care of these, our senior citizens, they're very dear to our heart, we do take care of them.
Thanks.
So, and if you go to the percentage sheet, this month, the percentages really changed considerably if you go down through there. We drop, and one gain. So a couple gained, three dropped, 4 dropped, and, as we keep on running that out, it's gonna be interesting how they really took a bounce this time. So, because in the village, 3% is a lot from January. You think about it, 3% when we do 100. We did 157 runs already in the village. And no one else, compares that number. That really surprised me. It took a bounce this time. So, as we work within those percentages and see what happens. So, I think it's giving good data that you want to see, Tom Mayor.
Yep. Yep, thanks,
And we'll
Chief.
compare it to 2014, we'll have the same charts, so we'll be able to
And I think,
actually run flow charts from year to year too.
I think you're getting revenue expectations by service area as well.
Yes.
From our provider.
Yes, I did. I don't have them with me.
Okay,
I
that's fine.
I know I emailed them to you, did
Yes,
I
you
not?
did.
I'm
You
sorry, I didn't even
No,
think
that's
about
okay.
doing that.
Nope.
I've got burning permits underneath me.
Yeah, I just left it on there, so it's okay.
It's okay. But they had a grass fire today. It's caused someone burning. The High Department of Natural Resources burning ban's in effect, and they don't care if it's raining or not raining. It does not matter. The rules are rules. Months of March, April, May, you cannot burn between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And also the months of October and November. And that rule was set up mainly. The main reason they came up with the 6 p.m. during the day, there's no volunteer firemen available from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that's really how they came up with that hours. It really has no effect on how people do business today because there's just no volunteers even in the evening anymore. But being a wet season, it's not been that bad. But I do know that there's lots of projects going on within the village. And we really, one of the ordinances that, and spoke to Charlotte about is, on the many lists, the to-do list, is that we need to revise and redo our permits for burning within the village. So we kind
Put that
of,
on your committee?
that'd be his committee that, we just need to look at it and redefine it because basically if a person has what I call an outdoor fireplace and they tell me, I don't make them get a permit anymore as long as they have a lid on it. And it's small, most of them are very, very small, and there's no need to have that permit. We just need to put some language into that to do that.
Fire pits, okay.
Yes. So,
Okay,
and I know, I think zoning goes to policy, doesn't it?
We
I
included
did,
the
yeah.
zoning report just to give everybody an indication of what is going on currently. Definitely, I think this probably needs to go to policy at our next policy
just not-
committee meeting,
yeah.
but this is something we just wanted to give everyone a preview of everything that's happening right now.
That's just an eye of what's been going on. It's been a busy year. It's been a busy year for us, which isn't very busy. We don't have that many zoning stuff, but I know a few council members had some questions about how some of the ordinances read, and we really need input from that committee to what the committee wants us to actually handle or, you know, it's always been, Greg, you know, we don't act on the zoning unless we receive a complaint. And we want to make sure that, because some of the things we're getting back from some council members may not be so. Because we've got to change it to council.
Let's talk in committee.
Mm-hmm.
You take that.
So they need to bring that on their bubble to look and reviews what they
I
need.
think we've
us
had
to-
some questions about property that's had
Property
some-
maintenance.
Property maintenance.
Burn issues and different things like that.
Burn issues, property maintenance issues.
Rental. Okay.
We've had complaints on a house they mow, but they're not fixing it up. Instead, you get complaints that it's like the basement's never been finished. And we've got a couple houses that have nearly set empty. But I think right now, if I drove through town, and as I told Charlie today, I drove through town and I saw 3 people doing building without permits. Now, one of them was substantial, the other 2 have been one of the deals that have been under the dollar mark and wouldn't issue a permit. I just write it down and says they checked with us and don't, so.
Yeah, we might reconsider that.
We gotta
In the past,
reconsider
we've
that.
talked about things like even whether you should post that a zoning permit has been required for a piece of property, so people don't wonder about it. And I've
Yes.
seen that really happens a lot, or if there's
Yes.
gonna be a question about the approval of zoning, that you publish it right on the property, so that people have an opportunity to know when and where a hearing might be, so we might have to think about.
I guess
Our
a few,
process.
a few things I'm getting back from the council stuff is that they may want me to change direction from what I've been doing. And I just make sure that how they want us to approach it or handle, we send letters and we're very cordial and we're very nice, but, somewhere down the road, council has to understand, someone's gonna get upset. I mean, that's.
So let's talk about that, and I think it'd probably be good to think about that even in the context of what's happening on 83, because I think we could have quite a bit of activity going soon, and we'll have our hands full.
Yeah, and
So-
actually, just to dovetail into what Chief said, we have Hogemeyer Design Group working to integrate the design guidelines that were adopted by council for the South Friendship Corridor into our current zoning code. They're working to do that. They're also working on a training program for planning commission to help them do a complete site review in that area where the new design guidelines will be taking effect. Because it'll be a little bit different than a site plan review in other areas. So we are currently working with planning commission members to try and schedule a special meeting in May that's separate from our already scheduled planning commission meeting for them to review the proposed changes to the zoning code and also do that training session to help them have a better handle on how to do the site plan review.
Okay. So, Jen, if you wouldn't mind, we'll put that on your agenda, we'll do those changes for you.
Also, Greg, since they're reviewing the book, and I asked Charlotte, she agreed with me, a few times when we had questions and stuff, is that they would review our definitions. We don't think we have enough definitions. We don't have something in our definition section of the zoning book. It doesn't allow us to make a decision, so they're reviewing, our book is really lacking some definitions.
Yeah, they're gonna look at that.
Okay,
Thank you.
anything else, Fire Chief, then?
No.
Thanks, Chief Gates. Mayor, my report, any progress on the dedicated public service one?
I'll check that one, we didn't get that
Okay.
completed, so that'll be
Okay.
next one.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
All right.
More
quick-
sooner, so.
Question, we usually have, I think, a Tree City USA Arbor Day celebration, is that, have
We
we
do.
had a chance to schedule that yet?
We do, that is Friday, April 24th at 10 a.m. And we've chosen the location, and that will be just in front of the home that is in the question, the burning, the old Victorian, I believe, with the home that Carol Goff owns. There's a
Next to the museum?
Yes, next to the museum and between, or next to the alley where the Crumb and Cup is located. there's an open spot there that really does need a tree, so we've decided that that's probably a good location. The school children will be able to walk there.
Good,
and-
April 24th at 10 a.m.
Yes,
That's
yes.
for our Arbor Day celebration at that location.
Exactly.
So, okay, sounds good. That's all I have for my report. Infrastructure.
Thanks, Greg. We had a rather lengthy meeting tonight where we discussed many topics. First thing on the agenda was ordering a road salt for next year. We have to put in a bid each year of how much we're willing to take into the state, so that the state can then combine all those bids and make a bid themselves, just to make sure that we are guaranteed our salt for next year. So we're in the process of bidding out how much road salt we're gonna need for next year. Also, we had a report that we're gonna have some work done at the lower reservoir. There's gonna be some grading to lower some of the more dangerous areas and also help get rid of some overgrowth. Mostly for make it easier for maintenance and also for safety reasons. Once those areas are graded over, they will be reseeded with something a little less invasive and a little less damaging to the water, I guess you should say. We've also, the last few months have been looking at the repair or replacement of the Village Hall roof. Last month we agreed to get some estimates, see how much it would cost to do a flat roof or a pitched roof. We were hoping for a pitched roof. The cost of the pitched roof, or the estimate cost, came in much more than what we were kind of figuring. So we decided to go back with our regular flat roof, and so we're in the process then of bidding that out so that we can get the repairs done on that.
So we'll probably have a new resolution on the agenda for that.
Yeah, and that's actually resolution 315-1, which should be changed to 415-1. But we've tabled that from our last meeting, so we can bring it back and put it on the agenda for this meeting.
And that may also include some upgrades or some renovations to other parts of the building
Over detail.
at the same time.
Okay, yeah, we'll look at that.
We've also,
We have 415.
we're looking into some replacements
415.
or some fixing of our brick crosswalks. We decided to just bring in a couple companies that'll walk around, not only look at our crosswalks, but also some of our side roads and some of our other brick roads. Kind of get an idea from them what kind of repair work they need, if they're in need, and some estimates to go along with that. So we do have a couple companies that are going to kind of come in and do a walkthrough and give us some ideas for those areas. Our Liberty Road bridge work is ongoing. We do have Pokemeyer are willing to do some more engineering work. So Charlotte's going to negotiate with them and do some more engineering work to try to figure out three of our options as far as cost. To restore the existing bridge. The second option may be to demolish the one that's there and rebuild on the same location, or maybe abandon that bridge, make it a pedestrian bridge, and maybe find an alternate location for that. But they're going to do some engineering work, some preliminary work, kind of figure out, we still working with the railroad, still working to try to figure out the easiest, best way to fix it, and so it is an ongoing work in progress.
Might be helpful to have a motion to authorize up to $9,000 for that study.
For the engineering study, right.
Would you like to make that motion?
I make a motion that we
Second.
allow Charlotte up to $9,000 for that engineering project.
Where would it come from?
Street.
Bill seconded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Street, I presume, street budget?
Yes,
Yep. Okay, so
Free
moved and
budget, we have
seconded.
the funds available.
we do.
Okay.
Any further, I suppose theoretically we should shortcut finances, so that's what
Yeah.
Steve is wearing his hat.
Well done, Steve.
Steve.
Well
No, it's okay, we do.
So, yeah, okay, any further discussion about that? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Also to report on a couple of projects that's been going on here in the village. There was some, during the Safe Routes to School project, once they got to Evergreen Village, where the sidewalk was supposed to go, set a light pole. And so we contacted AEP, who was willing to move the pole, but if they moved the pole, then there were 2 trees, some of the older pear trees. So we removed those trees, moved the pole, and are moving forward with the sidewalk. Once that is done, on the Evergreen Village side where the trees were removed, we will be replacing at our cost those trees for Evergreen. Also, we do have a couple of sidewalk projects. One is in progress. There's another one that we understand is going to be in progress. We also want to make the village aware that we still have our sidewalk program in place. You can find that on our webpage, and also it's going to be posted in a couple places throughout So we are trying to make the public aware that we are still working to assist them in repairing sidewalks to get repaired within the village. We also have a list of streets that need repaired and repaving. We kind of have an order of which they need to be done, but that's still being tweaked and moved around, and that project will be starting shortly. Did I forget anything, Charlotte? Okay, I think,
On the Lower Reservoir project, the reseeding, you said it's going to be, the plant material would be replaced with something less invasive.
less invasive.
Than what?
Than what were they called? What are we removing from the reservoir?
We're removing lots of
Trash.
Trees
Just-
Grub.
Yeah, we are gonna go ahead and proceed with the crown vetch, and the reason that we're gonna be using it, I know it's an invasive species, but that's, I agree, but it's also gonna choke out everything else, which is the reason why we're doing the project in the first place, is to try and get rid of all the junk that grows up that requires our operations crew to manually cut down every year. And if they're not able to reach it from the bank, they have to wait until the reservoir freezes over and is solid enough to be able to stand on. So that's part of
Is
the
crown
reason.
vetch our only option? Because
We-
it just can't be contained is my concern.
We do have another option. I can talk to the landscape company about and see if it'll do the same thing. So that's something that we won't start the seeding right away, so we can look into that and see if there's something that we can switch out, if it'll do the same thing. So we'll definitely ask about it. Yeah.
How soon is soon on paving?
Paving?
Yeah.
As soon as we can get Strouser here to look at the microsurfacing opportunities and identify potential streets that could take that treatment, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks they'll be able to come out and do that, then we can prioritize and get some cost estimates and put some information out to bid.
It'll be after school now.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't do it until the buses are off the road.
So there'll be a twofold, we'll look at that type surfacing plus.
Plus
standard
normal paving,
paving.
yes, yes.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Robert. Finance, Steve.
Finance met one morning last week, and myself, Brett Estes, and Lyle were there, and well, Greg, Adam, and Marlette, and Charlotte Colley. We talked about 3 major pieces. One was looking at our first quarter costs. We're under a new accounting system, so it's probably a little Greek to all of us. I know it was to me, and we're looking at some ways where we might be able to put together certain data that gives us a read, particularly on the cost of the fire department as well as the police cost, because we want to track that because of the levy. And at the same time, income and expenses tracked kind of as we expected, where we feel like we're okay there in a 3-month period. Secondly, we got a request from a Jersey County Public Sewer District. For those of you who don't know, and I'm not sure I always knew, that we take sewer from Morgan Manor on a contractual basis from Morgan Manor, which is under the guise of the Jersey County Sewer District, and we process it for a fee, and they feel that their expenses are greater than what they ought to be, and we received a letter. We're going to gather some data, and we think we can track some of this, and it's not the time to go into the detail, but we'll be reporting to you at a later date. We're not really prepared to make any recommendations at this point. Thirdly, you will see in ordinance F415-1. This is kind of a good one because Chris Huger, if you'll recall, was successful with a grant and somehow or other figured out how to get another $12,000 on that grant. And all we must do is approve that amount so that it's a state, I suspect, that's coming from. So that's kind of a nice one and an easy one. We'll ask you to approve that. Anything else from any of the others? Have you had no further thing?
I think, I might be wrong about this, is it just Morgan Manor, or is it also Colonial Heights? It is, okay, I wasn't sure what the number
Okay,
was.
so it could be both, and
Just in case any residents, yeah.
This was entered into this agreement in the late 90s. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from finance? Safety.
Thanks, Greg. So safety, we did have a short meeting tonight, so Bill brought a proposal forward about a citizen safety group that would kind of put a focus on where they felt safety needs for crossing sidewalks for the village. So I believe we left it that Bill would put a charter together and a little bit of proposal and some names, and we'll address that prior to council May meeting, and so it'll have some constraints and time frames to it. So we'll have more to come.
Okay.
Bill, anything?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Quick meeting, quick report.
Brett? Yep. Policy, take off the hook this time.
Yeah, policy did not meet, but it sounds like we will be.
You're load her up.
What happens when you...
I'm just here.
Sometimes you get dumped somewhere.
Fiscal Officer, Lynn.
Thank you, Greg. The March fund report shows total expenditures and revenue at month-end balance of $751,232. Our cash basis annual report was completed and has been filed with the state auditor's office as required. Our first quarter comparison looks to be in line with our budget projections. Our expenditures are at 20% of the budgeted appropriations. Total general fund revenue, fire EMS, and water sewer revenue is up slightly. Celebrating Concord revenue is down about 20% compared to last year. And our sale of our used village equipment generated $3,970 for our junk.
Good.
Any questions?
Any questions for Lynn? Fiscal Officer. Okay, thank you, Lynn. Administrator, Charlotte.
I have a couple quick announcements to make before I get into my report. The first, in council packets at the very beginning in the little flap area, the beginning of your binder, there is information from USDA Rural Development. They received federal funding that they had not been receiving for the past couple of years to administer a couple different programs. They have a home ownership program as well as a home repair program. These are things that have income requirements, but one of the interesting facts about the home repair program is that there's also an age requirement. If someone is 62 years of age or older, they're eligible for a grant to help remedy some different home repair items that they may have a need for. So I just wanted to pass out the information. We have it available in our front lobby area of Village Hall. We're also going to be putting up on the website to make sure that everyone has the information, the contact information for rural development, so that if they're interested at all, that they can get in touch with these folks. And from what I'm understanding, the process is very simple, and they have this money and they're really pushing it because they need to use it. So that's something that if you know of anybody, spread the word. Also, May is our primary election, and that election is on Tuesday, May 5th. Village Hall is the polling location. So we will be open in the downstairs area of Village Hall for that primary election. I'll start out with my wastewater treatment plant reports. Our water production for March was 7,496,000 gallons. On March 11th, the water plant reached a production record of 442,900 gallons per day, which is the most we've ever produced. Before that, the most that had ever been produced was 397,000 gallons. This was a unique event. We had a water break that wasn't caught right away, which lowered the levels of water in our water tower to, I believe there's only a foot left in the water tower, so we were scrambling to make that up so that we were able to keep school open, and they did an excellent job. The operators actually, prior to this, had removed 4 orifice plates from water filters, which allowed more flow to go through the plant. So that was some good pre-planning unknowingly on their part. Our wastewater flows for March were 13,676,000 gallons. There were no compliance issues in March. However, April 9th, as everyone is aware, we received 3.5 inches of rain in just a couple hours. So on April 9th, the wastewater plant processed 2,355,000 gallons of water and wastewater, excuse me. We had some overflows, and we are definitely out of compliance based on that, but so is the majority of southeastern Ohio. So we're making sure that we're doing the appropriate tests and cleaning up everything that we're and working through the issues, but it's something that just was unavoidable with the amount of water that we received. Our operations department, our staff has been very busy patching potholes when weather permits. We're also trying to prioritize our paving and street repair list. We've begun our street sweeping program and have been in contact with the university to ensure that the sweeping occurs in conjunction with various planned events that the university has. We're working to prepare and repair our mowing equipment because mowing season is officially starting this week. I've seen a lot of people out on their mowers. And the flower baskets that were so popular along Main Street last year will be coming back. We have McDaniel's Greenhouse currently growing those flowers, and they'll be hung up in advance of Mother's Day weekend. The Garden Club is going to be potting up those baskets in preparation for those them to be hung up. I've listed some major project highlights. Obviously, the Safe Routes to School project is a big project that we have going on here in the village, and we're trying to make sure that things are handled and that folks are kept up to date on everything. We have the NCAR's Strategic Plan Innovation Committee is working to review the proposals and interview consulting firms. We're hoping to reach a decision on a consulting firm by the end of April. We are currently considering 2 different website development companies to for our website redo, basically. Once a company is chosen, our staff is going to be working closely with them to begin changing over from our current website to this new website, which will have more functionality and capabilities better information, much more user-friendly, so we're looking at those right now. We're hoping that by the time everything's all said and done, it will be up early third quarter of 2015. We're also switching over the village email from our current email provider, Time Warner, to AppRiver, which is a very high-quality company that will meet our needs much better than what we currently have. We are working with AppRiver to make sure that once we do migrate our current email to the new system, that it works seamlessly and we don't lose emails and information in the process. So we're going to be working very, very hard to ensure a smooth transition. I mentioned the information about the zoning code update with the South Friendship Drive corridor design guidelines, and kind of talked about a lot of those other projects as well. So if there are any questions about anything, please let me know.
Any questions for Charlotte? I have two things to add real quick. Charlotte and I attended a couple meetings with a couple of state senators and representatives in Zanesville with respect to the wilds and our potential partnering with a variety of folks, not only for that project, but some other tech corridor projects that might even be adjacent to or near the intersection of several counties just south of here. So potentially we could be the entranceway to some of that, but we're working with various folks to share at least water infrastructure, because it could help folks on Ricks Mills Road, Ricks Mills in particular, if the county wanted to extend some of their infrastructure out there and partner essentially with us so that we could get infrastructure to some of the projects that we have. And Charlotte's working really hard to be creative with Omega and some others to try to understand how or if we want to be a part of that. So that's one thing. The other is Charlotte isn't showing it, but she's probably aged a little bit in her efforts to coordinate efforts with our development on Route 83. So I think that process is continuing. You might have mentioned that already. Do you imagine when we might see legislation on annexation? Would that be at our next meeting potentially, or do we know? Is it hard to tell?
Last I heard, the petition was going to be filed with the county early this week, so hopefully by today. And the way that the Ohio Revised Code reads, once the county receives an annexation petition, they're compelled to approve it at their next meeting, which would be this Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when they receive the petition. So I will double check with the attorney representing Mr. Brubel and make sure that everything's gone that way. So basically, yes, we would have to just approve finally that this is something that we want. There's legislation to go along with that, so we can hear that.
Why don't we, it's okay, we might as well pile on. Why don't we direct that legislation through her committee, if that's agreeable, so that we could have a committee look at that, and then council can expect some legislation. So that's all I had. Any other questions for village administrator? Okay, thank you, Charlotte. So old business, this will be 415-1, which is unlisted. 415-1 that is listed will be 415-2, I presume. So 415-1 would be removing from the table and putting back on the table will be authorization to advertise for bids for replacement of the roof, as Robert mentioned. Is that, if I worded that closely enough to the wording? It's the legislation that we saw in our last council that we tabled, and now it's back on the table. They advertise for bids.
Yes. Yes, the actual wording was a resolution authorizing advertisement for bids for replacement of the village hall roof and declaring an emergency. So, yeah.
So that's 415-1.
Yes, that can be
Okay.
415-1.
Is there any further discussion? Move it. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded that we dispense with the, that we declare an emergency and draw the resolution 415-1 to advertise for bids for the replacement of village hall roof. Any further discussion? Roll call in the emergency.
Dixon,
Yes.
Bronner, I'm sorry, it was Lyle. Sorry, wrong Jen.
Sorry.
What do I do? What do I do?
Lyle,
Yes.
Kokavich,
Yeah.
Essick,
Yes.
Bronner,
Yes.
Kerrigan.
Yes.
And now the resolution,
I move that we pass resolution 415-1.
moved by Jennifer, second by Robert, roll call.
Lyle,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Kokavich,
Yeah.
Essick,
Yes.
Bronner,
Yes.
Kerrigan.
Yes.
Resolution carries. Now, resolution as listed, 415-1 will be 415-2, a resolution declaring it necessary to levy a tax increase of the 10 mil limitation to provide for the general construction, reconstruction, servicing, and repair and maintenance of the streets, roads, bridges, the village of New Concord. This is the third reading. So, any questions? This really is just a renewal of the existing millage that we have had on village property. So this is a renewal of that, and I presume it will appear on the November ballot.
Yes. We'll have another subsequent set of legislation in the next 3 months
Put it
that
on the
will
ballot.
authorize us to
Put it
get
on
into
the
the Board of Elections,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
So
so
moved.
moved by Jen, so second by Brett. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Bronner,
Yes.
Essick,
Yes.
Kokavich,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Kerrigan.
Yes.
Resolution carries. Now, resolution 415-3, a resolution authorizing the village administrator into agreements with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the village of New Concord's participation in the contract and agreeing to be bound by the invitation's terms and conditions as adopted for rock salt requirements for purchase effective period 12 months from the date of award, inclusive, and declaring emergency.
So moved. And second.
Moved by Bill, second by Robert. Any further discussion? Roll call on the emergency.
Kerrigan,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Kokavich,
Yes.
Essick,
Yes.
Bronner,
Yes.
Lyle.
Yes.
And now the resolution.
So move on the resolution.
Moved by Robert,
Second.
second by Bill. Roll call.
Dixon,
Yes.
Kerrigan,
Yes.
Kokavich,
Yes.
Essick,
Yes.
Bronner,
Yes.
Lyle.
Yes.
Resolution carries. Now, ordinance F415-1, ordinance amending F215-1 in order to appropriate additional funds for the village of New Concord, Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2015, and declaring an emergency. This is what Steve talked about, right, Steve?
So moved.
Moved by Steve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brett. That we declare emergency and draw the ordinance. Any further discussion? Roll call on the emergency.
Kokavich,
Yes.
Essick,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Bronner,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Kerrigan.
Yes.
And now the ordinance.
Move on to the second.
Moved and second. Roll call.
Essick,
Yes.
Kokavich,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Bronner,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Kerrigan.
Yes.
Ordinance carries. Approval of bills.
I move we pay the bills.
Moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and second. We approve the bills as listed. Any further discussion or questions about the bills as listed? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Planning Commission meeting, is that still on for April 23rd?
As soon as I get something from the developer, hopefully this week, it is. If I don't get it, we'll have to cancel it. So
Yeah, I
I'll
think
know hopefully within the next couple days what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say we probably need to have some advance warning of what they're proposing, so we're
Oh, yeah.
probably getting almost.
I would say
up
by
to the-
Wednesday. If we don't hear something by Wednesday, we're
Okay.
gonna,
Okay. Arbor Day, as Charlotte mentioned, April 21st, 4th at 10 a.m. at next to the Glen Museum. Let's pick it up New Concord, April 25th, the following day at 9 a.m. at the Village Park. Then our next council meeting, May 11th at 7:30. We may have a couple of ancillary committee meetings, and Charlotte will coordinate with the chairs to coordinate those times between now and the next meeting. Any other business for council?
Hey, Greg?
Yep.
Pardon me for interrupting.
Sure.
Just mentioned that date for the Arbor Day, that's also the Yoga Day. The
Good
Yoga
point.
meeting.
Yep. I'm gonna have a problem with that. So we may need to call on backup for the Arbor Day
okay.
celebration. Thank you, John, for that.
I was just ready to ask you if you were ready for that.
Yeah, thank you,
You always
John.
do such an affluent job.
Yeah, there is another organization that we're a part of called EODA that's in Eastern Ohio Economic Development Group that was founded by Dale Heilman was a founder of that. It just recently passed away, so it's a kind of a big event for the region. I've represented the village in that organization, but it's made up of county commissioners and economic development people from about 16 counties in our part of the state, and they have an event that day. So I don't think, what time is, that's in the morning? Isn't it?
10 a.m.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Could
So,
If you're unable, it may be beneficial for, an author here, Appleseed, kind of plays in with that tree.
it's a great idea.
You class that day?
Do you bring your class?
We'll reach out to several of you. Charlotte and I will coordinate and reach
Like
out.
Steve and I've done it a couple of times.
I'd bring
And
my
it-
dog, but you know.
It really is,
He
it
liked
really
morning
is a
break.
fun thing. And
It
the-
is.
And the kids
Yeah.
who are part of it really
They
appreciate
get out
it.
of class. yeah.
John and his guys really set it up really
Yeah.
well, so we it's a neat thing to do. So, any other business before we adjourn?
Let's Pick It Up New Concord is still looking for team leaders. So if any of you are interested at all in being a team leader for Let's Pick It Up New Concord on Saturday, April 25th at 9 a.m., please contact GDBM. I'm going to be a team leader. My kids are coming with me. We're going to be out at the park to do it. So, so everyone else who doesn't have children should come out and help out if you have time.
Good thing.
Only those without children?
I just wanted to clarify what you were
No,
saying,
no,
with
no.
or without.
With or
I
without
would be out of town that day, or I would be a team leader, and I'm disappointed because it's a real important event. And I think for village leadership to be team leaders, which many people at this table have done many times in the past, is great.
Okay, any other business good for the, any other good for the whole business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Move, second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries, we adjourn. Thank you.
Don't run away, guys.